everyone, and welcome to another tutorial. This will be on the topic of oracle card decks and how they can relate to dream interpretation. So today we're going to be using one of my Lucid Dream oracle decks. This one is called Lucid Dream Tarot, and it is focused on earth-related symbols such as colors, elements, animals, landscapes, and so on. So it was intended to be used as a dream interpretation aid, but can also be used for oracle card reading. And so you will see here on my oracle cards, I have suggested meanings printed at the bottom of the card. I do have other decks that don't have the suggested meanings printed on the card. They have a separate PDF where you can download or print the guide as a reference. Some oracle card decks do include the suggested meanings. Sometimes they may include a quote on the card. Some decks don't have any suggested meaning on the card at all and only have the artwork on it for you to use as a jumping off point for interpretation. So typically you would, just as you would with a tarot deck, shuffle the deck and deal the cards into a spread, or read them one at a time on the fly, as you may have seen some readers doing on social media. So let's just invite Universe to join us for today's reading. Dear Universe, please join us in sharing messages with the collective today for their highest good. Thank you. Now, as I mentioned, these decks can be used as a dream interpretation aid, but they can also be used as an oracle card deck. And we see that we've got some cards here that sort of jumped out on their own. I'm just going to put them on top here and we will draw from there. We'll do a basic 3-card spread, a past, present, and future spread. So in the past position, we have the color orange. And then in the present position, we have bear. And then in future position, we have pig. So I'll just read the suggested meanings that are on each card. We have warmth for orange, warmth, joy, excitement, vitality, energy, creativity. And then bear says power, strength, brute force, courage, protection, and instinct. And then for pig, we have indulgence, excess, lust, wealth, ego, messy, and intelligent. Now, you may notice these are all qualities that can be associated with pigs. You may have heard some parents telling their children that their room is a pigsty, or sometimes if a person is being greedy or lustful, they're said to be acting like a pig. On the other hand, pigs can be associated with wealth, and the reason for this is that it used to be that if a person who could afford to have livestock was wealthy. And so many farm animals like pigs and cows and chickens are associated with wealth, and as such, this may be an indication of abundance. So take it how it resonates. But the way that I would interpret this is with the color orange, that there's a lot of warm-hearted empathy, perhaps even to the extent of people-pleasing with this card, and looking at it in the context of other cards, but where the present position is indicating a bear. So this is someone who is showing courage and strength. They are protection. They are enforcing their boundaries. And so they're being discerning. This is showing a situation where someone is discerning where it is appropriate to show warmth and to know when to take a step back and protect oneself and protect one's own resources and one's energy. So because of this is leading into an abundant state where, because the hard choices were made and certain sacrifices were made and certain boundaries were asserted, that now there is this state of abundance that can be enjoyed properly, because there's no longer a fear of people who are maybe trying to sabotage it or trying to take advantage of the situation when they did not contribute to the stability of the situation. So that's how I would interpret this particular 3-card spread. But once again, for each person, it can be an individual context can influence the interpretation. So if you might see a pig and it might remind you of something specific that is not related to the meanings on here, maybe you see the word bear and you see the pig and you start thinking of Muppets, and you might start thinking of a Muppet movie that you recently saw, and the context of it reminds you of your current situation. These are all just some possibilities, but the main point is that it's not necessarily going to be the suggested interpretation that has meaning for you. So if we move then into the topic of dream interpretation, where if we are keeping a dream journal, a daily dream journal, and we are writing down as much as we can remember of our dreams each morning when we wake up, the more that we become acquainted with these basic dream symbols, the more we can become aware of our bodies and our higher self and our subconscious seeking to share guidance with us in the form of dreams. And so the more we expand our dream vocabulary, the more we can immediately recognize certain spiritual messages coming through our dreams without having to spend a lot of time looking up meanings and struggling with interpretation. For those of us who have learned a second language or a third language, especially as an adult, there comes a time when you no longer feel the need to look up the meanings of things and to translate things in your head from one language to the other, because it just starts to flow and you start to be able to think in the new language. And so it's like that with dream interpretation, where the more familiar you become with the dream vocabulary, which you can do through using the lucid dream oracle cards as on a regular basis for your readings, then the more that vocabulary becomes second nature to you, and you might not even feel the need to write down a dream because you are already picking up on the message of it as soon as you wake up, or even while you're dreaming it. So the next possible development to come out of this, getting acquainted with this dream language, is the ability to interpret signs and symbols in your waking environment. And so you might see the color orange on a poster, or you might see an actual pig somewhere. Maybe you live in the city and you've never seen a pig in the city, but on this particular day you're seeing a pig for some reason, and it's feeling like it might have some special meaning. So this is where the opportunity to expand your metaphorical vocabulary can come into play, because the more that we increase our psychic awareness, the more we become fluent in the language of conversations with the cosmos. And the cosmos is constantly communicating with us, especially when we are actively manifesting. And so if we are looking for signs from the cosmos to help guide us in the direction of fulfilling our manifestations, then once again, it is to our benefit to have this fluency in the vocabulary of reading signs in our external environment, in our dream environment, and on tarot or oracle cards. So this concludes today's tutorial. Thank you for joining us, and I will catch you next time.